We've got some breaking news because of the $3.5 million Pokemon First Edition sealed case that Logan Paul bought from Shine150 on Instagram, who months and months and months ago bought from Jamil from Millie Pop Shop and Card Kahuna Jacob, who got it from a Canadian eBay listing that originated out of Canada. This case and all that research was done by Pokemon Rattle on YouTube, so please go check out his channel if you've not done so already to watch some of those videos. But let's see what was in the First Edition Pokemon case when Logan Paul and Shine and PWCC, who authenticated the case, opened it this past weekend.
Oh my
yes!
god! Oh my god!
Yes!
Oh my god!
Motherfucker!
Wait, hold on.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Why are they so puffy? Why are they so puffy though? See how they're shaped all?
They don't look right.
They don't look right.
They don't look right. Uh-oh.
See how they're curvy and puffy.
They're very light.
Hold on.
Let's open a box.
Oh yeah, right. Oh my god! Oh my god, bro! G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe!
That's incredible.
G.I. Joe! It could have been anything else.
We all got duped. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the biggest fraud in the entire history of Pokemon.
So now that we know that this case is indeed fake, there has to be some undoing of the money along the way. So Shine150 has already refunded Logan Paul the full $3.5 million. Logan bought from Shine because it was wrapped by PWCC and authenticated. Just the same reason why Shine bought it from Jamil and Jacob. And it was authenticated before they sold it to Shine. And they got it from that eBay listing that originated in Canada. So basically, as of right now, what we know is that Jamil has, his legal team has put the funds into an escrow account. And then as for Jacob, there's been no word on what the funds are doing with him back to Shine. And then we know nothing about the, at least the origin of the case in Canada. We will see if any news comes on that, and we will keep you all posted on what might happen through, upcoming YouTube shows, YouTube lives and everything. But as for the Weekly Slab episode 6, we have some good topics, so we hope you enjoy. And let's get on with this week's episode. Welcome, everyone, to the Weekly Slab episode 6. My name is Aaron, one of your host, and today Nate and I are going to be talking about a variety of topics, but the first topic we will be hitting is on a huge $3.3 million sale that occurred through PWCC's private sales network. We will get into that and talk about that sale and why it is so unique. We'll also be doing some discussion around sports car investing versus sports betting, a topic that was brought up by one of our users, and then we will be talking about who's hot, who's not in the sports car marketplace. But we also have a nice little segment today on PWCC's new auction that is going live literally tonight. As you're watching this episode, it'll probably be going live in a couple hours after that. So we're going to cover the new auction and a couple different things about it, give a little preview, and then we'll move on to our last segment, which is SlabStox FC, 3 up, 3 down in the soccer card market at the start of the 2020 season, or halfway through the season, but start of the 2022 year. I also said 2020 again, so I really am messing up the 2020 versus 21, 22 this year, right, Nate?
You haven't known what year it was since COVID started, apparently.
The funny thing is I was just talking to someone about that. Just like all 3 years have kind of blurred together at this point now, or 2.5, whatever it's been, or 2, I guess. That's the thing. I don't even know how long.
That's what happens when you don't even get to finish off your last semester of college. I mean, you finish it off, but not at school, right?
Just kind of feels like everything's the same thing for the last couple of years now. But cool. Let's just jump right into it because we had a huge sale that happened yesterday or 2 days ago now at this point, and it was a full 2009 National Treasures rookie patch auto set, but it wasn't just the out of 99 version. It was 111 different NTRPAs numbered out of 99, 25, and out of 5. The full set, I believe that means 37 players. The entire thing for every single player out of 5, 25, and 99. That includes Stephen Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Blake Griffin, James Harden, Drew Holiday, and then there's also a bunch of other guys like Hashim Thabit that never became anything, like all those other guys out there in the 09 class, Johnny Flynn. But this sale was huge. This was $3.3 million for all of those cards. And the sale actually occurred in November. So I talked to the purchaser. One of the purchasers is at SuperTrout27 Court on Instagram, and then his business partner, Sports Card X, that's EX. they combined together to buy this, and they actually picked this thing up in November. So I know that they had to go through a little bit of the finalization of the deal throughout the last couple months before it could be announced. But they did this in November before Curry broke the record. I think that's pretty big because Curry's high end has definitely taken a huge uptick since November. And grabbing this set that includes the out of 5, out of 25, and out of 99 versions of his RPA is massive. But $3.3 million is not a small price tag. This is one of the most expensive, public deals, or at least that we know about, for sports cards.
I'm actually kind of shocked that the Curry out of 5, 25, and 99 by themselves, considering what we see with Luka Doncic cards and Anthony Davis cards in the past, wasn't $3 million by itself.
Well, listen to this. There were some comments that said this was an amazing buy. Literally, the Currys paid for everything else. Other 108 cards were basically free, if you think about it, because 9.5 Currys, I do not know the exact last sale, but this is $600,000 to $700,000 card around there. It's been, and that's for the 9.5 out of 99. The out of 5, we haven't seen out of 5 sell since 2016, and in 2016, this is 6 years now. Before prices have obviously gotten insane. This was a $30,000 card out of 5. Now, here's the interesting thing is that the only way I'm actually able to know that the 2016 sale is by using Card Ladder's sales history tool. So I'm going to do a little screen share right now, and we're going to check that one out. So here we are at the Card Ladder Pro sales history. Of course, if you do want to create a Card Ladder account, go into the description of this podcast or video and hit the link to do so. We'd appreciate the support a lot. But if you look here, they've got sales history going back. It's like 15 plus years. It's a crazy amount of sales history, all-time sales history through multiple different platforms. So I typed in 2009 National Treasures Curry Patch Auto 5, which is going to try to pull up the Curry Patch Auto numbered out of 5. You've got Aaron Curry here, which is a football player, but you're gonna have to do a little bit of digging to try to figure out which one is which. Because I'm trying to find the true NTRPA. Now this one says Colossal, so it's not that one. This is 215 on March or May of 2013. But I finally come down here and land on this one. It says 2009 National Treasures Platinum Stephen Curry RPA Patch Auto out of 5 BGS 9 is an eBay auction on March 13, 2016 that sold for $31,000 6 years ago before the huge card boom. And this one I know is to be that card because it says Platinum. Numbered out of 5 is the Platinum Parallel. And then add in the fact it sold for $31,000 in 2016. Can guarantee you this is not the Colossal. So we hit this. And the Card Ladder estimated value, if you see it right there in the green, based off of how Curry's market has performed over the last 6 years, puts this card at $2.25 million. $2.25 million. So keep in mind 2.25, or really 2.26, I guess. And now let's go and look up the 99 9.5. And if you were to buy the Steph Curry of 99 BGS 9.5 patch autograph, let's just say you bought in 2014 for $1,500. They've got that one estimated at $476,000 right now. Now we do know what this card's worth because we're going to be able to find a sale recently, and it's going to be now this one I'm not really counting because if you hit this one, you see the autograph. This one had a 9 autograph on it. It hits the patch. It's really squiggly. Some of it's a little bit smudged or faded. This one sold for $360,000 in October 23rd. But based off of Curry's market, this specific card should be worth $560,000 right now. And then you look at the one that sold in the Premier, which this one has a better auto. It's approaching that patch window, but it's not anything like the last one. This one sold for $432,000 in May of 2021. And this one's estimated $680,000 right now. So you're already pushing $3 million right there. And then you add in, you got the 25. And we will go and try to find that. Now, this one's going to be a little bit harder to find because there's a lot of ones that are numbered out of 25. I'm probably just going to sort by actually the price because that'll help us find it the easiest, which right here, you got the most expensive one selling the 9.5 in 2016. This one is the gold parallel, and this one's got a nasty patch, and that one's estimated at $1.2 million right now.
Oh.
So, I mean, Nate, between all that, all those estimate values now, I think that they're
$1 million up.
Yeah. And that's just in the 3 Currys, right?
Well, they'd be like probably like 600,000 up on just the 3 Currys compared to the full purchase price.
So I can confirm that the one number out of 25 is a BGS 9. So it's not pushing over $1 million.
Okay.
The one that they have. But let's just see if there is a BGS 9. Here we go. This one sold July of 2018. It's about half the value for a 9 at $523K. But that's still, I mean, if you're just covering your purchase price with the Currys, which is true, that's when they guessed, off of the card ladder estimated value, which takes into account Curry's market changing over the last 5 years or whatever it might be based on the card. Great tool, by the way. Great tool. And I would say dangerously accurate too, based on these cards, which is crazy. It's good to see. Crazy accurate tool here. Very cool way to go and look up all-time sales history for different cards. So I would recommend it. Creating a card ladder account. I love it. The sales history tool is insane. And that's what we're looking at for this specific set.
And now, a reminder that though that card ladder thing is accurate, it only takes 2 people wanting those cards to push it even higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree.
Could go even higher.
I agree. And the whole thing about this set, though, is I was looking up some the players, Harden and DeRozan and Drew and Griffin. Blake Griffin's RPA is way back in the day. His 9.5 used to be worth $2,600. That was like in 2010. I can pretty much say for certain that is not going to sell for $2,000, considering DeRozan's were recently selling for right around that or lower, and he's been actually like very good the last 10 years. Blake Griffin a lot of the years has done nothing. As for DeRozan's most recent sale, though, and out of 5, BGS 9.5 sold for $7,500 on January 2nd. Not going to lie. Seems like an awesome buy, whoever bought that. That was of this year. For an out of 5, 9.5.
I get that he is good this year currently, but we're still talking about DeMar DeRozan.
Hey, he's the all-time leading scorer in Raptors history, bro.
We're talking about DeMar DeRozan here.
You're just doing your thing because you told that guy at the Chicago show that he was silly for
DeMar DeRozan is a 32-year-old that is playing well on the Bulls this year. We'll see what he does next year. Give it 3 years. People forget about DeMar DeRozan's good 32-year-old year.
All I know is that guy I told you he was buying DeMar DeRozan made a lot of money.
I laughed because I can't imagine buying a 32-year-old, and I still can't imagine buying a 32-year-old. But he's having a great year. The Bulls are a good team. But I feel like you're overreacting to his good year this year.
Oh, I mean, I'm not. Trust me, I would way rather go spend this money on Giannis or something. All I'm saying is an NTRPA out of 5, 9.5. If they make it around the playoffs, you're probably doubling your money pretty easily on that. But you if they get eliminated the first round, you could also lose like $3,000 pretty easily too. Yeah. So it's a risk, I guess. It's always a risk when you're talking about players like that. So Nate, I'm not trying to just rag on you because I do agree with you.
I thought you were like, wow, DeMar DeRozan. I'm like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on old DeMar.
Trust me, I want nothing more than the Bulls to get like a 4 or 5 seed because people are hyping them up so much and it's getting annoying.
We'll see. The whole NBA is kind of weird. Nets are falling apart right before our very eyes.
It is a little odd. Bucks have not been too good recently either without Budenholzer or Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, such an important piece in the Bucks, by the way. So important.
Hey, we're 1-0 in championships with Drew Holiday on the team, so can confirm.
That is true. Undefeated. Never lost. To wrap up this sale, though, it is really unique to me because rarely do you see something that's outside of like a single card announced as a multi-million-dollar sale. You got your Mantles, you've got your Honus Wagners, your LeBrons, Exquisites, all this stuff. But this is a super unique set.
Your Anthony Davises.
Anthony Davis, Logan Man for over just about $1 million. This is one of the most unique sales I've seen recently, and I think that this was an excellent buy if you have the money. I also think if it's people that have this much money, you're probably not like in a rush to start selling through it. Might not be a bad idea to split up one of those Currys and grab a large chunk of your money back, though.
Yeah.
Now also, I will say, having the complete set matters. Like, take one Curry away and you don't have the complete set anymore, so it might be stupid. But in large part, I mean, this set, I was talking to Nate about this, I don't think that the set was made in the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, this stuff you would have had to start right away accumulating. You look at that sales history. I know that these are like eBay auctions that go way back when. You can't really get buy and now pricing from eBay 10 years ago. But there's no way you were finding that many out of 5s of these rando guys. You know, you might see a Curry and Harden pop up once every few years, and then you're selling for like 20K, then 40K, then 300K or whatever. But even in that market, it's hard to complete a set when they're getting that expensive. So kudos to whoever put this thing together. It's unreal. Unreal.
So do you think there's a path forward? Obviously, somebody's done this with NT, and it'd be really hard to do it with NT nowadays. But just thinking about your love for color blasts, what if you grabbed a color blast of every player that has a color blast for 2018 Prism or 2019 Prism or 2020 Prism or whatever?
Well, that's what I was trying to do with the 2020 Prism Color Blast set. And then you start to sell some cards, don't have all of them. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be really cool to do this with different sets. And who knows like how much value comes from having the rest of the players, right? Like everyone other than the 5 I mentioned, they couldn't have agreed to
I mean,
more than
I just sold a complete set of 1986 tops the other day for $200. The Jerry Rice ungraded is like $50. The Steve Young and Reggie White and a couple other guys in there. Bruce Smith is a rookie. Isn't that crazy? Reggie White, Bruce Smith, rookie cards in the same set.
Yeah.
Top 2 sack getters of all time.
Yeah. That is crazy.
But
half the battle is making the set, especially when it comes to this NTRPA thing. That's like, you won't be able to do that again. So I'm sure that there is multiple 5 is definitely over 5 figures for the rest of the random cards, which you sell them all individually. You're probably not even getting close to it.
Correct. So I do think there is value in getting a set, because like that 1986 set, if you pieced it out, you're not getting close to $200.
So
you have it all together, $200.
Just like the Tom Brady 2012 to 2020 Prism Silver run. I had to insert it in there for Nate. Nate loves hearing about that Tom Brady Prism Silver run.
I love hearing that people are spending $25,000 on a 2018 PSA 10 Tom Brady Silver because he has a Super Bowl jersey on.
I can't wait to see what the one sells through the premiere on the 22nd of January. There's another one selling, and that's 2 months back to back that one's selling. And time before we saw the one sell for $25K, it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago for $750. So it'll be interesting to see if that $25,000 sale spur more people to be like, I need to get mine, or if it's like going to sell for like $6,000 less. Yeah. I would assume it's going to sell for less, but that's just me. Moving on to segment two. Once again, congrats to everyone involved in that deal. PWCC, Brock, Jesse, Super Trot 27, Sports Card X. That's a huge deal. But on to our next topic, was brought up by @peerless_sports_cards on Instagram. He sent me a DM talking about sports cards versus sports betting. I think a lot of time when people think about sports betting just from the mainstream level, I'd say football is generally the most thought about one, the most covered one, and probably bet on sport too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have data for that. I don't sports bet, so I'm just assuming from like what I read, more like a Twitter pulse at that, if anything. Yeah. But he reached out on something different. He reached out on a UFC sports betting. And not because he's like, hey, you guys should spend sports bet on UFC. And Nate brought up to me, he's like, hey, I want to do a segment if we're going to be talking about people should go bet on sports, which I agree, which is why we're talking about this topic in the first place, because we both agree with the statement, I think, that sports betting, at least in our eyes, I know a lot of people do it. I know there's a lot of professionals that do it. People make money, but also people lose a lot of money too. Just as they do in cards. You can lose money through cards too. This isn't to say cards are just going to make money, because they're not. But when it comes to sports betting, it's a zero-sum game. It's your bet hits and you win money. A lot of the times, double your money unless you throw down some parlays or pick a money line on a huge underdog. Or your bet doesn't hit and you lose all of your money and you come away with zero. And when it came to what Peerless was reaching out about, he was talking about it from a UFC perspective. Because in UFC, when you're betting on these fighters in their fights, it's either one fighter or the other, and you just pick a fighter as you kind of would pick an investment, right? Like when you're betting on NFL, if you bet on the Colts, it means you're betting on not only Jonathan Taylor as myself buying cards of him, but also Carson Wentz and also that defense. And you give up 20 points to the Jaguars and your quarterback doesn't perform well. Jonathan Taylor had a mediocre game, but I didn't watch it, so I can't speak to who did well, who didn't. You're just betting on all of them, and you need all of them to succeed. When it comes to UFC fighting, your fighter wins, your fighter loses. And basically, he was saying that he put investment money into this guy named, it looks like, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. So I'm going to go with his nickname, Ninja. I'll put a card up on the screen of this guy. His nickname's Ninja. And he bought $2,065 worth of cards of him, total of 11 cards. So I'll put up his thing he sent me. It's like a little breakdown of all the different cards, some silver, some numbered, an octagon of 8 he bought for $1,000, and all that added up to $2,065. Now he also brought, if he were to bet on Ninja in the fight with odds of minus 233, the risk is for $2,065. The payoff would be $886 if he wins the fight. So if he were to win the fight, Ninja, he would make $886. If he were to lose, he'd lose all $2,065. If he invests in these cards and he wins the fight, he can sell any of the 11 cards to make any amount of money. He can lose the fight and he cannot sell any of the cards and come away with $0 in sales after the fight, but he still has his investment in the player or fighter in this case. Or you can also grade the cards and make money through grading the cards. So his whole thing is like, hey, so many people are spending money on sports betting, specifically in the UFC for him, when if you were to take the same amount of money and put it into cards, UFC cards that there aren't that many number cards of some of these new rookies of and stuff, it's a pretty low print Prism set to start. They came out with Chronicles, which has many different variations, but you know what to do. You can focus on the cards you want. And the proposition is that you can make more money, lose less money, and have more flexibility with sports card investing. And I think it's a super interesting thing because I agree with it.
Very much though, like you said, it has to be a single player sport. If that makes sense. Like if you did this with golf, it would work. If you did this with UFC, it'd work. If you start getting into sports where you have to rely on others to help you win a championship, like LeBron this year with the Lakers. Lakers are a bad team. Anthony Davis injured. Russell Westbrook turning the ball over constantly and not playing very well. Carmelo Anthony is old. You know, you invest in LeBron, he doesn't win a championship because he's getting dragged down by all of his teammates. Now, you could blame GM LeBron for putting that team together, but if you invest in LeBron and you expect him to win a championship to gain money, it's probably not going to happen because the Lakers are a bad team.
Can I sauce you a devil's advocate play here?
Devil's advocate me.
So the monthly card ladder index for LeBron James's player index in the last month has
probably gone up because he's been on fire.
So it's actually been minus 0.46%, which is like nothing. Pretty much stayed even. His cards in the last like few weeks, I think, have been changing in value, going up. I should look at, I don't think I can sort by weekly for this, but actually I can. The weekly or the daily change is 0.03%, but that's regardless of the fact. My point here though is, Nate, is that if you place like a $1,000 bet on LeBron James before the season starts, or you buy $1,000 in LeBron James cards before the season starts, if you place that bet, you're guaranteed out money. I mean, unless the Lakers like turn around in some ridiculous fashion and win the finals, you're pretty much out money. Now, if you bet on, or if you bought LeBron's $1,000 rookie card, PSA, whatever, you probably are losing money at this point. Are you losing all your money? No. Can you make money by the end of the season, even if the Lakers don't win the championship? Yeah, I think you can. If LeBron stays on this crazy run, you're probably going to make money in the next 3 months at some point. And that's my devil's advocate, which is all you're right.
Devil's advocate.
What do you say?
I said a well-played devil's advocate because you were right. I guess you can look at it that way. If you're looking at it, I guess I was looking at it from the standpoint of it's a lot easier to put this money on a guy that you believe is control of his own destiny. But you're looking at it from a wins-loss standpoint, and no matter who you bet on in cards, you're not going to lose all your money.
No.
Likely.
And it'll take a long time if you do. The other topic would be like a John Morant MVP play. You know, a lot of people have probably placed bets on John Morant to win MVP in the last couple weeks, hoping he stays on this crazy run. Maybe KD gets cold. Maybe the Bucks don't win as many games as is needed for Giannis to win a third MVP. And everyone's just John Morant hysteria, like, you know, when Derrick Rose won MVP and he wins MVP, and you maybe make, I don't know, from the time you place your bet 4 times the money in your bet, which would be a sizable win. Now, what are the odds that John Morant actually wins MVP? I'd say substantially pretty low still compared to Curry and Giannis. And even if people want to start to make a LeBron argument, like when he was with the Cavs and they're terrible and he was just carrying them, and people were trying to argue finals MVP when they lose in 5 games or whatever it was, So if you were to take the same scenario, John Morant, a much, in my mind, sounder investment and use of money, obviously, is buying those cards, buying his best rookie cards, his ones you can sell by the end of the season, or you hold longer. The MVP thing, man, John Morant can turn out to be a top 5 point guard of all time. If he doesn't win MVP this one season, you're done. You're out your money. So
Yeah,
I don't go ahead.
It's likely that if you are listening to this right now, you don't need us to tell you this because you're into cards anyways.
Yeah.
But if you've got some friends that love gambling and aren't into cards, share this with them and maybe convince them that instead of spending $2,000 on their next UFC fight, put $2,000 into cards and see how it goes.
And I think that's the bigger thing here is the reason why Pirlo's brought it up is because he probably tracks UFC quite a bit, either between the cards, the fights, the betting, whatever it is, and you just see how much money is being bet on UFC fights, and the amount of people who don't know about UFC cards is probably astounding compared to that. And it just makes a lot more sense. And that's, I think, always why the card argument's been so strong, is because it does link to these other methods of getting involved in sports, like daily fantasy, seasonally fantasy, where you have to wait the entire season to do anything with, or the sports betting. And I think that, like Nate said, anyone listening to this is probably going to agree with us, but it's worth bringing up and just talking about, because inevitably you have those friends. Like I have a friend who literally bets on prop bets like all the time on NBA. He's betting on Klay Thompson hitting like 12 points in his first game and stuff. And those, I guess you spend small amounts of money. I'm sure that it can be a little fun. I'm sure addicting too, just as cards are for a lot of people.
It also pays out a little bit quicker.
It does. It's more liquid.
You can't buy a Klay Thompson card day of, sell it day of, and probably make a profit unless you're buying through, I don't know, check out my cards and got a good deal, or SlabStox or something like that.
Correct. So there's pros and cons to each. It depends on how impulsive you are and how needy you are to see your reward, I guess.
Yeah. But Aaron and I firmly on the side of cards.
Yeah.
Not on the side.
Especially because sports betting, and I know cards are too, but cards you can make very sound business decisions with. Sports betting, you can probably go down a dark path of placing too many bets too fast.
Yep.
And we don't want to see people.
I mean, you can do that with cards. You get into the credit card. You get into your credit card there and
buy too many PMGs.
Yeah. So
I know
it goes both ways, but the main point here is that you're not ever going to lose all of your money with cards. You
especially
can
within
lose all your money with betting. Especially
within like a 1 year time frame, because I don't want to say that and then someone's like, oh well, JJJ's 2018 Prism went from $200 to $10 in a year and a half. But along the lines, I hope that you realize you might need to cut a loss along and sell it for 100 versus 10.
Correct. You're not going to go down from $2,000 to $0 in a day. Let's put it that way.
Correct. Next segment of the show, we've got the PWCC weekly auction. So they switched from monthly auctions from October, November, and December into a weekly auction, where every single auction that's going to go live in 2022 is going to start on Thursday, meaning today. If you're listening right now on Thursday on YouTube or podcast, tonight you will be able to go on to pwccmarketplace.com and start placing bids to qualify for extended bidding in these items. Now you say, when do these end? They end every single Sunday. So it's a 10-day auction. So they'll go live on a Thursday, and then the first one will finish on Sunday, the 23rd in January. So this is auction number 1 for 2022. It is live right now. And we did already look at some of the cards as we have favored 178 items, and we'll see which ones we place some bids on. But we will be live bidding on these every single Sunday too, by the way. So be sure to come to the first stream starting at 9:45 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, the 23rd. And like I said, be sure to go get your bids in now. The link is in the description to jump to this auction and to go view it and hit and place some bids tonight. Because like I said, you need to place a bid on each item you want to win before 9 p.m. Pacific time on the night of the closing. Very important. Very important. Actually, not 9 p.m. Pacific. It's 7 p.m. Pacific. 9 p.m. Central time. But Nate, what's something that pops up to you really quick? We'll cover a card here.
Just really quick. Spencer Torkelson.
All right, let's check it out.
Gold Wave auto should be playing. If they play baseball this year, he should be up. He should be the best bat in the Tigers lineup. They got Javi Baez. They got the pitcher from the Red Sox. I can't remember his name now. They've got young pitching. That offense starts picking it up. with Spencer Torkelson. They could be a potential playoff team. I don't want to say guaranteed playoff team, but a potential playoff team. And Spencer Torkelson in the middle there could be good.
Nice. Another thing about this auction is that if I go to all of the items right here, those were just our favorites I previewed quick. If you hit all the items, there's 3,620 different cards in the first auction ending on Sunday the 23rd. This is lower than the amount that you'll normally see in an auction, but for the very first one in 2022, they want to make sure there weren't too many items up for bidding, so they limited it to under 4,000 for the first auction. I'd say normally it'll probably be around 7,000, I heard, in a Sunday auction, and this includes everything: baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, Pokemon, other TCG, racing, boxing, tennis, swimming. Like there's literally everything in here that you can imagine. So if you want to, we are very excited for these things to launch. We'll be doing a lot of sweet content on this throughout the year. Be sure to go into the description, start favoring your items for this upcoming Sunday the 23rd, because you'll be able to place bids and then hopefully win some of these sweet items. As for me, I want to highlight a card really quick that I'm super excited about, and it's a Wayne Gretzky card and Gordie Howe. It's actually my favorites. So I'm going to hit my favorites really quick.
I know both
This is quite the card. This is a dual on-card auto of Wayne Gretzky and Gordie Howe, one of the other greatest hockey players of all time. Nickname of Mr. Hockey. It says it on the card there, and he signed it.
That's
Mr.
awesome.
Hockey. BGS 8.510 from 2002. It's numbered out of 99. Dude, I'm going to really be bidding strong on this one because this thing is one of the coolest cards I've seen. I don't know how much it's going to sell for, but maybe I won't even be able to qualify for it. There's potential that's true because it's super sick. But that's like just the type of items you can find in this auction. There's a lot of other really cool stuff. One more I'm going to preview here because I saw this one. I was excited about this too. Sapphire Red Verstappen, number out of 5, PSA 8. These cards are super tough to grade. This is a variation red out of 5. I'm expecting this to sell for an insane amount after he won the championship. My dad and I could have bought this card at the National for some amount. I don't want to say because it's going to be like a third of the amount that this will sell for. But I can't win them all. But what you can do is you can actually win this card if you do want, coming up on the 23rd. So please hit that link if you do want to drop bids. You can do it as of tonight. And I'm very excited to see how this stuff goes this year. And Nate, I think I'm going to speak for myself and you too. But man, I'm pumped to see what happens with these auctions this year.
Yeah, I am. I've got cards that I'm sending in. Hopefully I'll find some cards that I really want before the baseball season starts. And then while the baseball season goes on, football cards, while the football season's ramping up, basketball cards, and just keep playing this Sunday auction game here.
For sure. And as everyone knows, we're partners with PWCC, so we do a lot of this stuff with them, and it is partner content, just so you know. So, if you want to join in and have some fun with us on those live bidding streams, please feel free. It's an absolute blast. We generally give away a card, a bidding stream, sometimes more than that we win that night. So, people are walking away sometimes with a couple $100 cards, and it's a super fun time. So we'd love to have you at those too. Lastly, I just want to point out that right now on Instagram, there's a giveaway live for this Kobe Select Courtside Silver PSA 9. So you can hop in on Instagram and just comment 3 friends' names. Make sure to follow at SlabStox and at PWCC Marketplace. You'll be entered to win this. We'll let the contest run for 10 days, but someone's going to win this card. We won this in the December auction. And happy to give this away and get someone a sweet Kobe, as this is a short print, and I'm sure someone will love this. So go check out that Instagram post and drop a comment if you do want to enter the giveaway.
All right, moving on to who's hot, who's not of the week with data powered by Card Ladder. We are looking at the who's hot, and that is Cooper Kupp. Now, Cooper Kupp fell shy of history, 17 yards shy to be exact, of the single season record for receiving yards in a year. In fact, he had, let me grab it real quick here. Calvin Johnson had 1,964 yards in 2012. Cooper Kupp, 1,947 yards in 2021. Obviously, a little grain of salt here. Extra game there. 17-game season instead of a 16-game season. But still, nonetheless, if you would have looked at Cooper Kupp any of the last couple of years and said, you know what, I think that guy's going to end with the second most receiving yards all time in a single season, I would have laughed at you. And Aaron would have laughed at you, and everyone would have laughed at you. And so absolutely incredible showing from him. Incredible season just in general. Last year, to put it in perspective, last year he had 15 games, 12 games started, 974 yards and 3 touchdowns. This year, 1,947 yards, almost 1,000 extra yards than last year, and 16 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns more than he had last year. So really, really incredible showing from him. And as for his prices, powered by Card Ladder here, you can look at his 2017 Prism Silver. And the last sale, Aaron, if you want to scroll down here,
Yes, sir.
was $454. But you can see this year or this 6-month trend. And this started around $100.
110.
$110 all the way up to 454 for a guy like Cooper Cup.
That's a 313% gain in 6 months.
Yeah, and it's a risk, a big risk investing in wide receivers and running backs because you usually have that one season. But this was Cooper Kupp's one season, and it was really the last month he blew up because it kind of stayed the same. And then people started realizing that he could kind of break that record, and they started paying more money.
I mean, we're talking $175 on December 12th, 2021. And as of January 9th, 4 days ago, $455. That's a substantial rise because this thing started at 110, making $60, not bad. You're happy.
110 to 175, that's fine.
Yeah, but man, and I will tell you this much. This looks very, very similar to a guy named Jonathan Taylor's chart from this year. Very similar.
Who's he?
Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts. I almost said Jonathan Taylor because I was trying to say chart right after it. Messed up my favorite player's name. That's how it goes. Might be like Naquan Devonta Graham or something.
That's true.
But we've got
it. Never happen.
You didn't do that though. I'm not saying you did that. I was just joking. But Jonathan Taylor, his trend looks very similar. End of the year is super high, and I think it's dipped a little bit since the end of the season. Probably, I'm sure Cooper Kupp is. If they get eliminated from the postseason, this thing's probably gonna fall back to what, Nate? 250.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if it fell back down to 175. Honestly.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We can make recommendations based on what we do. We can't tell people what to do and make them listen because we don't want that either. We don't want people to just listen to what we say and go do it, But if it were me and I owned one of these 2017 Prism PSA 10s of Cup, I would sell so fast anywhere above 375. So fast.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong with taking your money. Now, sometimes you take your money, you look back and you said, I could add another $1,000 on that card and it stinks. But if you look at all the other ones you've had and you look at something like Cooper Kupp and you take your money at 370 or 350 and it goes down to 200 in a month, you'll be happy. So there's never a problem with taking your money, especially with NFL cards and especially with running backs and wide receivers.
For sure. Just to wrap up the Cup segment, I just want to point out that the population growth on Card Ladder, super cool. It tracks the population growth since April or since the start of May. And on April 29th, there was 130 PSA 10s in PSA's database. You fast forward to October 7th, and you're looking at a 70 rise up to 200.
Wow.
Now, this is interesting to me because if you were to, this increase of 70 here, hey, this were just people who probably threw them into bulk submissions just because, right?
Yep.
This wasn't because Cooper Kupp was going to be the second highest receiving yards of all time. Since
$100 card or whatever, so you throw it in.
Right, exactly. Since October 7th, you got 200, and now you're sitting at 214. So over the last quarter and some change, you gained 15, and that's not that many. Obviously, grading cost is extremely expensive right now. Who would ever risk sending in this card to get a 9? You're losing your money very fast. Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to point out here is that this population is pretty stable on this card, I'd say. Mahomes has got nearly 1,000 PSA 10s out there, which really isn't a whole lot either because it's a tough grade, but there's a whole lot more out there than 214 PSA 10s. So all I'm trying to say is that, this pop is going to be pretty stable, which is going to help people who hold the card, but might not be bad looking at a raw card if you're a Cooper Kupp fan and just want to pick up a card because it's going to be significantly cheaper. Cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Our Who's Not of the Week is a guy we brought up in the live stream briefly, and we're bringing up here just because I really want to push Aaron's buttons and show him that Jonathan Taylor is not in the playoffs, not because of anything Jonathan Taylor did, but because of what Carson Wentz did. So the Colts, all they had to do was go in and beat the 2-14 Jaguars. Pretty easy. They're a bad team. The Jaguars have showed almost no promise this year. You just have to go in and take care of business against the Jaguars. Shouldn't be an issue, right?
Well, they haven't done it in like 7 years, one in Jacksonville, so I guess it might be an issue.
I mean, okay, it might be an issue. Well, Carson Wentz, big issue here, going 17 for 29, 58% completion percentage, 185 yards, throwing a touchdown, throwing an interception. He fumbled the ball. He got sacked 6 times.
Which could be your O-line's fault.
Could be your O-line. I know they're dealing with some injuries, but it's tough scene. It's a tough scene for them to have traded a 3rd-round pick from this past draft and a conditional 2nd-round pick for this upcoming draft, which turned into a 1st-round pick for this upcoming draft because he played 75% or more of his team's snaps. So they gave up a 1st-round pick to the Eagles to get Carson Wentz in there to then miss the playoffs, mainly because of Carson Wentz on Sunday. The whole team didn't play well, but when you're the quarterback, the blame falls on you, and the blame here falls on Carson Wentz. He did not play well. The team did not play well. They missed the playoffs. The Eagles make the playoffs, and the Eagles get their 1st-round pick. The who's not of the week is really Carson Wentz, and I question where the Colts go from here, because are they going to want to bring him back?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard to. It's hard to give up on a guy that quick who you just bring in for like a big trade type of deal
For a 1st and a 3rd-round pick, yeah.
Yeah, also hard to go ahead when you miss the playoffs like that too, given that your rest of the team is amazing. 7 Pro Bowlers, including Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, tough scene, like Nate said, but also tough scene. Dude, this graph hurts to look at if you were to be a buyer of Wentz between $400 and $500 on a Silver Prism PSA 10, like they were before the season, down 77%.
If you go back a year, $800 on 4/16/2021.
Oh yeah, let me go back a year. So we did have a $700 or $800 sale on 4/16/2021, which is bad in its own right. It's actually worse over the last 6 months than it is over the last year. It's down 77% in the last 6 months. Most recent sale is $102.50. I would not be shocked if this card is below $75 by the end of January at all. Why would this card go up at all? Why would it stay even at all? I don't know. And as for the pop report, just because I always think this stuff is interesting to look at, there's 668 as of May 1st. Fast forward to today, there's 731. So, of course, a lot of these have already been graded, but there's 732 PSA 10s out there. So there's no shortage of this card, especially when people want to dump it. This is the type of thing when you've got 700 of these graded and people want to get their money out, there's going to be ones for sale. If you're a gambler, if you like buying stuff on the dip, Nate, do you buy one of these for $70?
I mean, what do you a couple years ago when Jimmy Garoppolo had like his 3rd chance at a rise in price?
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah.
Eventually you run out of chances. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz has run out of chances here. I would not spend $10 on this card.
Got you. It also looks like my camera's having some difficulties, but that's okay because we're about to wrap up this week's show. I think you can still hear me, right, Nate?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right.
Even if you're glitching all over the place.
I am glitching all over the place, but that's okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming and watching the Weekly Slab episode 6 or listening on podcast. We do appreciate you all for joining. Means a lot. Covered a lot of different topics this week, including the $3.3 million sale, the sports betting versus sports card investing topic, looking at PWCC's first weekly auction going live tonight. Be sure to get your bids in right away to qualify for extended bidding with low bids because it is lower risk to bid early and to get all those qualifications in with $10 to $15 bids. And then we also looked at who's hot, who's not, and then some soccer card trends. So, Nate, thanks for joining me another week. Everyone, thank you for listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts so you can come back next week for 6 p.m. Eastern Time as we release Weekly Slab number 7. But this was number 6. We hope you all have a great rest of your week and safe weekend.
See you guys.